Hi guys, how's it going? My name's Madison. Welcome to my channel. I just ordered groceries from Amazon because I had a lot of stuff that I needed to do today. So I figured, Missy's like drinking water right here. I figured that I would grab the groceries with you guys and do like some of the like meal prep that I was planning on doing anyways because I just bought some chicken. There is a scrubby brush right here, and there's also a plate in the sink from breakfast that I just had a couple hours ago. So I'm filming on my phone, so unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to edit this. I might try. Rylan has told me a couple times that they do that, so I'm gonna try that. And yeah, so let me grab these groceries and let's get into this because it'll be fun. My door always slams like super hard because the it has like a spring on it or something. So it always like super slams unless I like hold it really hard. Okay. So I love ordering from Amazon Fresh because it is like, it makes everything really easy because you can still like do everything that you need to do while you're waiting. Okay, so I have some kale right here, which I am going to use right now. Mitzi, that bag does not involve you. Got some carrots that I'm going to use right now. But yeah, I gotta go to work in a couple hours, so I need to make my food for that. So that's why we are here right now. I always end up using those little bags that they come in because you can't like really decide like if you want to get them or not. I always use that for my lunch whenever I work at Amazon. I got one cucumber. I got these tomatoes because I'm always making like that tomato pasta. I make like tomato pasta with feta on top, and I always use those. I got some more bananas, which these look perfect. So I'll probably end up eating 2. Brandon will have a couple, and then I'll just put the other ones in the freezer for banana bread. I also got some little peppers. This was actually the best deal on peppers on the app as well. It was like $3 or $4. So that is why I got that instead of like bigger like whole peppers. And then I just got some spinach because I'm always making breakfast for Brandon and I've been really wanting some spinach for like, I actually really want to try making an omelet because I haven't made an omelet in a really long time. I got some broccoli. I also really like cooking like eggs with rice, and that is like, spinach is perfect with that. I got this mozzarella cheese. It is the Silagine cherry size ones. They're just really delicious, and I'll eat these with like the tomatoes a lot. I wish you guys could have seen the strawberry that I pulled out of the container whenever I was eating my breakfast this morning. I had 2 over medium eggs with 2 slices of toast and some strawberries, and this one strawberry was huge. Like it was like this big, like it was like the size of like a tennis ball. It was crazy. So the main situation here, I picked up 2 packs of the bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs because they have the most flavor to them, and they are also the least expensive on the app or just in general. So I'm gonna set these right here. for just a second. I might put one of these, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put one of these in the freezer because it does say to use it by the 26th. This one is more frozen, so I'm gonna put this one in here. I should actually probably show you guys like my freezer at some point. I have all kinds of stuff going on in there. I think that would be really, really fun. And then I just got some more rice while I was on the app. I really like this rice. It's really delicious. And if you have problems like having containers for stuff, this actually comes with a Velcro. Well, I guess it's not Velcro. It's like, I think it's made by Velcro, but it's like the little plastic parts that like fit together instead of like actual like cloth Velcro. And I really like this rice. I usually get the same one from H-E-B, but I wasn't going to H-E-B, so here we are. Whenever I'm delivering with Amazon, I always have these little fruit bars because they give me a quick boost of like sugar and carbs so that I can like get through the rest of my shift. So I got a blueberry one and a raspberry one, and these were on sale. So those are exciting to try. I usually have this brand. It is Nature's Bakery. This is the oatmeal crumble strawberry one. I've not had this before until I got this pack. I usually have the ones that are just like the plain, like it's not like the oatmeal crumble, it's just like a plain bar with like strawberry, raspberry, blueberry. They have like so many different flavors, just plain fig. And that's what the main thing is here. It's like figs with like other like stuff, like there's like date paste and stuff. It's not the most healthy thing, like it's one of those things that like looks really healthy, but it's not like super healthy. But like I said, I just use it when I'm at Amazon because I'm able to work off the sugar and the carbs really easily, so I don't have to worry about that turning into fat, because I'm mostly sweating everything out anyway. This is the last bag that I have. Oh, I also got some shrimp because Brandon and I love shrimp, and I haven't made shrimp yet, so I was like, I'm gonna get some shrimp. Cool. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do is get the cord for my ring light out of the way. And then I'm gonna set these tomatoes where they're supposed to go. And I actually already have like some of them over here because I just eat tomato pasta so much. Like I have so much feta in my fridge. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have my Instant Pot right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in so that we can go ahead and get started with this. Does anybody else have it where like you wash this so well and somehow it smells like food? So mine smells like chicken because that's mostly what I cook in my Instant Pot, is just a lot of chicken. So it just smells like chicken, and I really do wash the hell out of that thing. So I don't really know, honestly. If you have any like ideas, I mean, I've even put bleach in it before. So I honestly am like kind of out of ideas here. Okay. So I have my Instant Pot plugged in. The little pot thing is in here. I'm gonna go ahead. I have some onions and garlic right here. And I'm just gonna get that situated to go in. I need this, which I still don't know where my chef's knife is. So I've been having to cut everything with my like little paring knife, which is like extremely dangerous, but I do not have another option right now. So I've been cutting everything with this because I have no idea where anything is. As well, like a lot of people say that you can't like peel garlic, but like honestly, if you start from like this little root end of the garlic and you just peel it back, it actually peels really well. And that way you don't have to worry about like smashing the garlic like in like Rachel Ray fashion. If you get that reference. Like, yeah, it's super easy once you start. Like you just have to peel one off, and then I usually like kind of crawfish tail it this way. But yeah, actually, I do have to work in a couple hours. It's nice like working at the hotel because I can like, you know, bring my lunch and there's a microwave and everything, so I can like actually eat, you know, some pretty healthy stuff. Yesterday I had to like order food because I did not plan my day correctly, and I didn't get to make food before I had to leave. I have to leave my apartment about 30 minutes to an hour earlier to make sure that I'm able to get there on time. So I'm just peeling this garlic, getting everything ready. And I'm actually not gonna cut the garlic because the pressure cooker will take care of the garlic for me, and it'll actually just make it where it will like, wow, why do I not have a brain right now? It'll just like smash in with the chicken. I'll show you guys. But yeah, every time I've been cutting onion now, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like so dangerous. I don't know why Mitzi is obsessed with drinking water right now. I think she needs a little bit more, actually. Here you go, mate. Here you go. Just wanted to bring my trash can over here. This is exactly why I have a flat square trash can, so that I can just put it right up to the counter. Makes everything so much easier. Please let me know how you guys are doing today. Yesterday was my first day working like at night. I worked 3 to 11 at the hotel with this dude that I've actually never worked with either because he always works the night shift. And it was good. I mean, it was just a little bit different. I had to walk around the building a couple times, but today I actually went on a run this morning and I got 3,000 steps already in. So hopefully that will take care of some of the madness, and hopefully there's some things to do whenever I get there. And then I'm just gonna do a small dice on this onion. And I still just have this chicken sitting right next to me, which is fine. I'm like one of the first places like on the fresh order deliveries, because I live like right next to the warehouse pretty much. Not like right next to it, but close to it. Trying to cut this onion fast so it doesn't get to me right now. And I think I'm just gonna use a half an onion today. I think that's enough. So I'm just gonna place the other one over here. I'll put that in a bag in a minute. And then whenever I don't feel like using my peeler, I actually just do something really bad and I just take the knife and peel the carrot like this. It's not awful because this knife is like pretty thick, but you're definitely not supposed to do this with your knife. It's also a little dangerous, but do I care? Nuh-uh. No, I do not. Cool. So I'm just gonna slice this carrot into, I guess I'm just gonna cut it into like little chunks. That'll work. So I usually just like cut it long ways this way and then long ways down the other side to make like a little kind of quadrant. It doesn't really matter because these are going to get super soft in here, and I just end up like squishing them with the shredded chicken. Like, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so here are the veggies prepped. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the Instant Pot on the saute function. And it'll have like a time on here, whatever. It absolutely does not matter because it literally doesn't matter. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and add some oil now. I don't have to add very much because there's skin on this chicken. And if you didn't know, chicken skin is fat, so. What I do like doing sometimes actually is browning up the chicken skin and then like taking it out and using it like on top of soups and stuff. That is really nice. Mitzi, out. Out. And I'm just grabbing some spices here. I just have some lemon pepper, oregano, onion powder, garlic powder, salt. And I'm just gonna keep one clean hand really quick. So I can do everything I need to do. And I'm just drying off the surface a little bit. Wow, this chicken actually is like kind of frozen. Most of their stuff is frozen there, but honestly, it doesn't even matter because, and I did not keep one of my hands dry. It doesn't even matter about like it being frozen whenever you're doing it in the Instant Pot, because it literally, the Instant Pot is magic. Like this is gonna be done in like 15 minutes. And then you just have to wait for it to release the pressure. But that's time that you didn't have to do anything with. So I'm just saying. So I'm just seasoning these on one side really quick while I'm waiting for it to heat up. The saute function is pretty crazy sometimes. So you do want to do this quickly. If you don't think you can do it quickly, do not turn the saute function on until after you're done, because she be getting hot. And then I'm just gonna kind of press it in a little bit, and I'm just gonna lay that in here. And the reason I'm making so much chicken is because I'm doing this for my lunches. And I'm also doing this because me and Brandon are gonna have like different meals as well. So, scooch over there. Trying to see if I can fit 5 in here. Yeah, I can fit 5. Okay, so I'm just browning these really quick. And while I'm waiting for that side to brown, I'm gonna go ahead and season the other side with all the same stuff. I did not add the oregano yet because I usually just add the oregano whenever I add the liquid. And these seasonings are pretty like neutral, so you can use these for like all kinds of recipes, and it's not gonna be like some big thing. I'm also gonna add some adobo. And this is just the Goya brand. It is like an all-purpose seasoning. It's pretty much like the same thing. The only thing that's different is in here is that it has a little bit of turmeric. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit more salt as well. This is just kosher salt. And it's mostly because I am gonna add a lot of liquid to this. I usually will supplement a previous batch like of stock in here, but I don't have any defrosted right now, so I am just gonna be kind of like starting from fresh, like starting from scratch, and just using water in here. And I'm gonna put a bay leaf in this too. If I can find them. I always lose my bay leaves. There they are. So I'm gonna go ahead and set a couple little like pieces of bay leaf to the side because that's gonna help me create a really nice broth. I know it sounds like it's gonna be like all mushy and weird, but honestly, it's so delicious. It's shocking. So they're just getting brown here. I'm still gonna wait for it to get a little bit more brown. I just wanna check it because it will get away from you. And it's okay to have the fat in here. We're not gonna eat the skin whenever it's all done because it will be soft. But it's okay to have that fat in here. It's really nice. See, this one's a little bit more brown here. It's just taking a little bit longer, which is actually kind of good because there's a lot of chicken in here. It's taking longer because of that. But yeah, I could not find my camera battery anywhere. So I honestly have no idea where it is. It was sitting on like a table at one point, like just in the little like case or whatever. And now I don't know where it is. So love that for me. I still don't know like where I put everything, so I keep having to like check and see. I'm like, did I put something here or here? These bananas look delicious. I'm gonna eat one right now. Oops. But yeah, this whole thing of bananas is literally like $1.38. Excuse me. These are beautiful bananas. Look at these bananas. My phone is so bad at focusing. Oh my goodness. Jesus. So it's actually kind of a funny story. I have to keep Missy's little like dog pads stuck on the side of this because this door keeps on closing. What's funny is that it wasn't closing whenever we moved in. Like it wasn't like just closing by itself. But it was squeaking, so I sprayed some WD-40 in the little hinge, and now it's too lubricated and it just moves by itself. Delicious. So it's getting some browning on it, which is perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and flip them. And it's not like this is like super necessary, but it kind of is because you want to develop that flavor in here, and browning it is definitely going to help with that. This water is for this, but I'm going to drink a little bit of it. It's just for me and Brandon anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I was going to grab the rice out of here. And then, I've been low on iron lately, so I'm gonna go ahead and steam up some of this kale, probably with some bacon fat or something. Honestly, maybe with a little bit of these onions too. That might be a good idea because I really, really need some iron. There's so much kale here, it's so funny. And this was like nothing, like price-wise, I think this was like $2 maybe. Like, so I'm just gonna break off a couple of these so that I can wash them. I usually will like prep out this whole thing and just like cut it and put it into a container, but I don't want to do that right now. And then I just grabbed my bacon fat while I was in there. And these are still browning, so I'm gonna just wash this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get my stuff ready for some rice. So I'm gonna do like rice, kale, and the chicken at work today. A lot of the times I'll do this and I'll make like the little, like a little chipotle bowl with it. And that's really good. With like rice, beans, which I got some free beans at work because they were just gonna, like they had bought them whenever the snowstorm happened. And then, they were just sitting there and I was like, hey, like, is somebody gonna use these beans or what? And they were like, no, do you want them? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want them. 4 cans of black beans for free, so sounds good to me. And I'm just gonna put this in here so I can rinse this rice. And I don't always eat healthy, like it's just something that I'm trying to get better at. So that's why I'm trying to take my lunch and stuff so I can just try to be better. Cool. So there's a lot of browning happening in the bottom of this. Nothing is burning. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the water. And you just want enough water, just enough to cover the top of the chicken, because the part of the meat that is not in the water will get very, very tough. Even with a nice piece of chicken like this where it's a thigh. So I'm just checking right now to see how these are doing. And honestly, I usually throw this stuff in before, like I brown this with the chicken, but there's not that much space in there and I kind of forgot. So we're just gonna put it in now, which is totally fine because we did get a lot of flavor from the chicken being browned, so it's okay. It'll be all right. I'm gonna save a little bit of this onion for the kale, and then I'm putting all that garlic in there because that is a lot. Bay leaves. I'm gonna put this over here because I'm gonna need it in just a second. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add this oregano. I put a good amount of oregano. I would say like half a teaspoon or so. And then I also have these chives. I'm gonna throw those in there too. Just some dried chives. It just, like, I understand that I just put onion, chives, and onion powder in there. And it's just all about like different layers of flavor, which is why I usually will brown the little like carrots and onions in here. I just forgot, honestly, because like cooking is a little bit different. Like whenever you're explaining stuff, it just works out a little bit differently. So It's all right, it'll be okay. But if you're doing it, brown it. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more water because I wanna make sure that it is covered. And I'm also adding a little bit more salt because I did just add like about 4 cups of water in here. So I would say altogether I'm probably using a teaspoon of salt or so. And that is kosher salt. If you're using regular salt, that would be about the equivalent of maybe half a teaspoon, 3/4 of a teaspoon, something like that. So I'm just gonna wait for this to start bubbling up a little bit. And I do see bubbles like coming through right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my lid on, which I always have the worst time with the lid. Ooh, so lid on, close the vent, cancel, and then I'm gonna put poultry. It already has 15 minutes for poultry on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just let that do its thing, and I'm gonna move on to my rice. It's just letting me know that it started. So I'm also gonna get this kale ready too, really quick, because I'm distracted with it, honestly. Honestly, I should not do that because I need something to do while the rice is cooking for you guys. Let me see if I can move the camera a little bit and just get you guys a little closer over here. Okay, yeah, that works. Right? Okay. Anyways, so I'm gonna put this on a medium-high heat. Brandon just put the dishes away, so I gotta find my lid. Okay, cool. He is so sweet. I Snapchat videoed him while I was at work yesterday, and we're just like talking about random stuff, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I have a surprise for you, like whenever you get home. I'm like, okay, cool. So I come in or whatever, he's so excited. I'm just adding like a little like teaspoon or so of oil, maybe a little bit more. Anyway, he's all excited. So I had asked him at some point in time, whenever he has time, to clean the floors in here because I kept cleaning them, and I was like, he needs to know like what the situation is with these floors so that, you know, we're on the same page, you know? So he cleaned the floors. He also cleaned all the dishes from breakfast because I made a whole bunch of dishes before I realized that they had cut the water off to fix somebody's whatever. So I'm just putting this rice in here, and I'm just gonna brown the rice and evaporate some of the water, and then I will add the liquid. Anyway, so he did all the dishes from the morning. What else did he do? There was like one other thing that I was like, oh my god, but I can't remember what it is. And this rice that I'm using right now is from HEB, and this specific rice cooks up really, really well. It cooks up like nice and fluffy. I'm using a little bit less water because I did rinse it. So I'm using a little bit less than a cup because even though I'm trying to evaporate all the water in here, it's just impossible to get every single little bit out. So I'm just putting it on the bottom of this pan so that it'll start doing its thing. What the hell? My upstairs neighbors are so loud. Anyways, but yeah, it was just so sweet that he like did all that, and like, you know, I didn't like have to fight with him or anything, you know, because I know that there's like some situations where you like fight with your spouse about like certain stuff, and I'm just so glad that I did not have to try to fight with him about any of that stuff. Oh, that's what he did too. He was like, yeah, I cleaned all the counters, and he was like, I tried to put the dishes away, but because I told him, I was like, hey, I need to tell you where all the dishes go so that you know in case you ever have to put them away. And he was like, hey, I tried to put the dishes away. I didn't know where all they went, but like I tried, and I was like, that's cool with me. It's okay, no worries. I think a lot of it is like sometimes people don't realize that like the biggest part of it is just trying, you know? So Mitzi, go find an activity. Go find an activity. All right, so this is pretty much dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the water and some salt. Maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon in there. It's not that much rice, so. You do have to add a good amount of salt whenever you're cooking, because whenever you go to restaurants and such, it is a lot of salt that they're using. So to make stuff taste good, you do have to use seasonings and salt a lot. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to come up to a boil. Oops. Hey Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
I'm just setting the timer for 10 minutes now because I'm probably going to be busy doing something whenever it goes off, and I want to make sure that I'm good. I usually, like, this is usually a little bit quicker because I usually am, I usually have this a little bit higher already. Also, it's really weird, so like whenever the service light is on here, it makes like the inside of the microwave, like in here, warm. And that just doesn't sound right to me, but oh well. I'm so excited to show you guys this chicken. It is just amazing. Like, it just cooks for 15 minutes and then you just let it hang out for like 10. Sometimes I've done it for like 30 minutes where it'll just like slow release for like 30 minutes to an hour. And that is like the best chicken that you'll ever have in your entire life. It's good. Okay, that is simmering. I'm gonna put this on low. And I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the kale right here. And this isn't like any kind of special kale, it's just the regular kale. Yeah, this man came up to me at my job yesterday, and he's like, "Hey, you married, or are you just wearing those rings to keep them away?" And I was like, "You are correct. I'm keeping people away." And in my head, I'm like, "Is it keeping you away?" Like, I just do not like having situations like that where I like have to like ward people off. So usually, if you haven't tried it, fake wedding rings. Like, it wasn't even necessarily purposeful, but once I started realizing it was working, I was like, shit, say less. Cool. So, let me get a pan. I think I'm going to use this one. This is like a 10-inch. Is this a 10-inch? Excuse me. It's a 9.5 stainless steel pan. I always just wipe out my pans just in case anything is happening in there. So I got my rice going. I'm also going to put some of this bacon fat in here. I think I'm going to use these to cook it. So I'm going to just do it with this. Cool. That has now started its little 15 minutes. Y'all hear those birds chirping? It's so cute. And these are already washed. I'm just going to eat one of these peppers. If you haven't had these, they're so good. They're just so crispy and juicy, like, delicious. I honestly probably already had enough vitamin C for the day because I had all those strawberries, but that's okay. And I went running, so I got some D and C from the sun. Cool. So I'm gonna get a clove of garlic. Every once in a while the garlic skin does stick, but it usually does come off pretty clean. Cool, so my bacon fat is heated up. I'm just going to swirl it around the pan a little bit. I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil just to supplement here. And I'm just gonna add this little bit of onion. Because the kale, like, I'm not gonna super cook it, so it'll go really quick. Because I still want it to be alive. And I'm just gonna microplane my garlic because that's my favorite way. And that way every bite has garlic. And it'll stay on the microplane, so I just microplane it over the cutting board. And then it's still in the microplane. And I'm just waiting for this onion to cook just a little bit more. Cool. So I can go ahead and add this kale in here now. It wasn't that much onion and it was cut pretty small, so it was really easy to cook. And I'm just gonna wilt that down a little bit. I'm just gonna add a little bit of water to steam that. Just to get a little bit of steam going, make sure nothing burns. And I'm gonna add my garlic. Sometimes when I can't get all the garlic off the microplane, I just take whatever is in the pan and like rub it on there and it'll come out. Oh, he cleaned the stove too. I was like, the stove? I was like, nah. And like the thing about it too is like, it's like he's not even asking for anything in return. Like, you know, like I already made breakfast and stuff for us. Like, you know, like he was just being a helpful member of the household. So happy. All right, and I'm gonna add a little bit of Chardonnay to this because I think the acidity would be really nice here. Just like literally a splash. And let that cook off a little bit. And adding Chardonnay to something like this is very similar to adding like part of a like lemon juice, like citrus and stuff. It's just gonna like help with just a little bit of acidity. Mitzi, I did not invite you in here. Go on. So I'm just gonna let that cook for like one more moment because it is on the edge of not being like bright green anymore. And I'm also gonna add just a little bit of this lemon pepper. And then I'm gonna call it out. And I'm just gonna add a little smidge of some Kerrygold. Alexa, be quiet. Just a little bit in there just to add some richness to that. The Chardonnay and the butter will be perfect in there. Okay, so here's the kale with like the onions and the garlic. It looks and smells really good. And then I'm gonna go ahead and remove my rice from the heat in about 60 seconds because I did start that timer really early. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move my kale to this little Tupperware. That is certainly one good thing about working at night is that I can make my food like the day of, because usually if I'm prepping food, then I'm making it the day before, trying to make sure that everything is like staying pretty fresh. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to get the balance there. So this is gonna be perfect. This honestly looks so good. I'm so excited about that. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove my rice. And I'm gonna let that hang out there for like 2 minutes. My chicken has 7 minutes on here, so really that's still like about 17 minutes. This video is 47 minutes long already. If you're still here, thanks. Really freaking hoping that I'm able to edit some stuff out because that would be perfect. While I'm waiting for the chicken, I'm actually gonna get a container for the chicken to go in. I'm gonna get some freezer bags ready because I'm also going to freeze some of the chicken that I have cooked, because you can freeze raw chicken, but you can also freeze chicken that you cooked, especially if it's already shredded. You can literally just take it out and it'll defrost in about 20 minutes, like with some warm water, or excuse me, if you don't wanna use warm water, that's not the right thing. I use warm water, I don't really care. As long as you eat it the same day, you're good. So, and then just make your meal, and it's so quick. I always have to wipe out bowls because like things just always, you know, like things get dusty whenever they're just hanging around. So I always wipe out my bowls. So I'm gonna put that there. And then I think I'm just gonna freeze like one bag. And that way I don't have to worry about us like having to eat the like all these leftovers or whatever. But we do have something ready if I need to like cook something really quick. You know what I mean? That's good, that's good. So it's been a couple of minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove my lid to this rice. And I'm just gonna fluff it. And what I usually do whenever I'm fluffing rice is go on the side of the pan and then just kind of like push up, like I'm kind of going like that. Because you want to make sure that you don't like push your rice down, so you don't want to take like a spoon in here or something whenever you're just making, you know, regular white rice. And I'm going to go ahead and put some of this in my container. And this is just going in the refrigerator, like the extra rice is just going in the refrigerator, but I always write dates on it because I have some chicken broth in there right now. I didn't write a date on it, and I don't know when I put it in there because that's my life. I'm way too busy. So that way I have that ready. And that way you don't have to second guess anything. You don't have to wonder about what you did, what's going on. I'm just gonna scoot that to the side. Cool. 3 minutes on that. I'm gonna wash some of these dishes. I'm just gonna keep this on me in case I can't edit it out, so at least you're looking at something that's moving. I have such a funny Tech Nine song stuck in my head right now. Perfect. Wow, that was perfect timing. So my chicken has just... Okay, girl, we hear you. Jeez. Anyways, my chicken has just finished pressure cooking. So now it just needs to release the pressure. You can release the pressure yourself, but for me personally, it is a big part of the texture of the chicken and making sure that everything is super tender to let this release itself. So while I'm waiting, I just realized I need to eat before I go to work too. Hello, duh. So I am gonna make some mushrooms so that I can make like a creamy... I honestly have had a lot of fat today because of my breakfast this morning, but that is okay. And I'm actually gonna use the rest of this rice, I'm pretty sure. And that way I don't even have to put it away. That's fine. Because I do have some mushrooms that I need to use. It is time. If they're still good, because they've been in there for a little minute. Oh yeah, they're okay. Yeah, they're a little moist, but that's all right. And what I like to do whenever I cook mushrooms is just cook all of them at once, and then put some in the freezer so that I don't have to always cook them. Honestly, utilizing your freezer is such a crucial part of eating at home, in my opinion. And I'm just gonna dry them off a little bit because they just got a little wet in there. They were just a little sweaty, so. My run was pretty good this morning, but it's crazy like how fast your body can lose some of the like stamina that it did have, because before I actually started dating Jonathan, I was like in a pretty good regimen of running a couple times a week. Mitzi, can you go do that somewhere else? Running a couple times a week. And I wasn't like having to really stop that much. Like I could run like half a mile or so and not have to worry about stopping. Mitzi, out. I could run like a half a mile or so out. And so I wouldn't have to worry. And like now, I was like having to stop. I'm like, what the heck? But it's okay, because I'll get back to that. It felt amazing to start running. And the reason that I am doing that is because I usually get a whole bunch of like working out done at Amazon, but I'm not really working there as much. I'm only working there 2 days a week. So I have to make sure that I'm getting my steps in like through other ways. Yeah, these are okay. This is usually why I just cook the mushrooms whenever I get them. And that way I don't have to question whether or not something weird is happening. But that is all right. They smell fine. They're not moldy or anything, so they'll be okay. That chicken smells so good. I know it's crazy to think of like chicken with the bone in to cook in 15 minutes, but it's the truth, y'all. It is the truth, and it is my favorite thing because there is so much collagen and flavor in the bone, and the bone will give you so much. So I'm glad that I can cook it with it and not have to worry about overcooking it, undercooking it, like making it a weird texture, sitting around for 40 minutes sometimes, depending on how you cook it. And if you buy it with the bone in, you can always just take the bone out if you want to, you know, make like a chicken sandwich or anything like that. So that's really nice. All right. Actually, I'm gonna cook it in this. This is my favorite pan to make mushrooms in. I'm just putting that on a medium high, and I'm just checking my rice out really quick. Yeah, this is like a perfect amount of rice. Like, see how fluffy this rice is? Like, it just is like so nice. Like, all the grains are separate. So good. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. One time I fell asleep with the chicken in here, Dang it. Okay, there we go. One day I fell asleep with the chicken in here, and like I didn't wake up till like an hour later, so it had been like slow releasing for like 45 minutes, and it was the best. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was just pretty much like cooked chicken that had been like marinating in itself. Like, it was so good. Okay, so that's hot. And I'm gonna add a fair bit of oil in here. You also have to remember that I'm not about to eat all of these mushrooms with all of this, you know, tablespoon of oil. I'm probably gonna eat half. And I'm gonna go ahead and change this because I'm just gonna use this in the freezer. I don't really care about using freezer bags when it's mushrooms because they don't really get like freezer burned. And I also use them really quick, so it doesn't really matter. So that is ready. I'm gonna get some heavy cream. And what's great too is I just made that chicken, so I'm gonna be able to use the chicken broth in this dish, which is another reason I like making that stuff, because it just makes everything so easy. Cool. Okay, so while those are gonna start browning, I'm gonna go ahead and release the rest of the pressure out of this chicken. So, it's been about 8 minutes so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and press cancel, and so it's off, and I'm gonna unplug it just so that I feel good. And then I'm gonna release it. This is one of the noises that it makes. It's a little scary the first time you do it because you're like, damn, is this gonna come off of here? It's not. You're good. Totally fine. Oops. And I have a gigantic bowl right here, so I'm just gonna set everything in here, and then I'm gonna strain the broth of everything, and so I can like pick out the veggies as well. And this is all the pressure that would be slow releasing, but since I'm doing it kind of manually, that's why it's like taking a little bit, because it was, you know, doing its thing. And while that's doing that, I'm actually gonna get some spinach out too. And this is why I like having spinach, because you can just add spinach like randomly to anything you want. Okay, so it has stopped making noise, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it. And right now it is looking delicious. It's bubbling, everything looks great. Whenever you let the pressure release by itself, it usually doesn't bubble as much whenever you open it. So I'm just gonna grab these. And I will be shredding these, but it's just gonna be a minute. What I like as well about using the chicken on the bone is that this is still like whole chicken on bone. So you could serve that just like that. and you wouldn't have to worry about it looking, you know, super ugly or anything. Obviously, you know, you could take the skin off, but cool. So that's gonna hang out there. And that's still really hot, so I'm just going to take it out and set it on this for just a minute. And I'm just grabbing a dish rag and I'm just gonna grab it from the side so I can set it on my little hot thing. This broth looks amazing. You can see it right there. It's gonna be so luxurious. Like whenever you put it in the fridge and it gets really solidified on the top, you could always, that could be the time where you scoop the fat off if you'd like to, or you can make soups and stuff and have it like that. This is what I always do whenever I make my chicken, corn, and rice and lime soup or whatever. Delicious. So I'm just coming back to my mushrooms here. I'm gonna add some salt. Maybe half a teaspoon to a full teaspoon. This is mushrooms. Just gonna let those sweat that out a little bit more. I also really like to add onion powder and garlic powder. I learned this at culinary school, or in culinary school, excuse me. Misspoke. And then this is another instance where I could use Chardonnay to deglaze, but I also can use a white wine vinegar, which I'm gonna go ahead and use a white wine vinegar because I just want you guys to really see that you can do that. You can certainly eat spinach stems, but I don't like the texture of them in this, so I am gonna remove them. And like I said, Brandon just cleaned the counter yesterday. I don't mind eating food off the counter, so I'm gonna do that. If you don't want to eat food off the counter, that is up to you and your kitchen. If I was making food for a whole bunch of people, it would be a different situation, but it's just literally for me. And I am wearing sandals in my kitchen because these are my sandals that I wear exclusively in the house. Because honestly, I feel like no matter how clean you get the floor, you still can't walk on it barefoot. But that's just me, especially with a dog. Cool. So these are pretty much good. So I'm just going to set these to the side for just a minute, and I'm going to turn off this heat. I have my spinach ready to go right there. And this is cooled enough for me to touch it. So right here, I just have a container, and you just want it to be big enough. This is a lot of broth, so I just want to make sure. And then I have a strainer right here. Oh my God, this broth looks so good. I'm so excited, guys. Like, it's pretty much perfect, honestly. Getting a little bit of steam on me. And this is just gonna help me locate the bay leaves. One of them was in there, so I am removing the other one right now. And then I'm just gonna go through these onions really quick and these carrots, and everything looks good. Excuse me. So the broth has now been cleansed. And I like to put a glove on for this, personally. First of all, because it's hot as hell. Second of all, because I don't like chicken on my hands. Cool. So, I know you can't see everything, so let me see if I can kind of No, you're still not gonna be able to see everything. Okay, so I have my container that I'm gonna take to work. I have the bag, and then I have a container for the chicken that I'll be eating on right now. And then I have the chicken. So I am just going to remove the skin and throw it away because it has done its job. And you don't have to cook it with the skin on. You honestly don't even have to cook it with the bone in. If you want to cook it without the bone, you just cook it for about 11 minutes. I would say 12, 13 if it's frozen. Ooh, it's hot. And please don't give your dogs chicken skin. Like maybe a little bite here and there, but not a whole thing of chicken skin. It is just as unhealthy for them as it is for us. Or a whole mess of it anyway. Cool. This is still super hot. So I'm gonna need both hands. Honestly. Cool. So I have it right here. Woo! Super hot. And like when I do the ones without the bone, I literally just take it in my hand and go like this. And it just falls apart. It's amazing. And when I'm doing this as well, I kind of make sure that there's not any weird little like gristly parts or any weird stuff like that. And I'm just, ooh, it's hot. Gonna shred this in here. Yeah, this is honestly still super, super hot. So I got enough for my lunch so that it'll cool off so I can put it in the fridge before I go. Because I don't eat that much like at work because like I said, I'm not doing that much movement. I'm also just going to take a little bit of the onions and carrots with the garlic and stick that in here. Plus some flavor. There we go. Cool. And then I'm going to come back to that chicken because it's trying to kill me. Okay, so I have my broth right here. So I'm just gonna take it over here so I can start cooking with it. And I'm just gonna save some of these mushrooms for the freezer. And I'm gonna turn this heat back on. And you just wanna let them cool all the way down before you stick them in the freezer, honestly. Can I help you? Mitzi is staring at me. So I'm just waiting for this to start sizzling again. And honestly, you can just drink that broth. Like that is pretty much like, now that you have like a broth like this, you pretty much have like a deconstructed soup. So anything that you want to make soup out of, you just, like you can cook potatoes, chicken, which we have, carrots, like some corn or something, celery, add all that to some broth, add some chicken in there, delicious. Okay, so this is now going. So I'm gonna add a little bit of this rice wine vinegar. And a little bit of this broth. I just threw that thing in. That's okay. And then to the broth, I usually will go ahead and add some ice, but I should be able to just let it hang out for now, and that way I can just stick it in the fridge. What was that? Oh. just want this to reduce a little bit. I'm just getting my butter back out because I will need it in a little bit, and then I'm gonna put my rice in a bowl. Ow. And you can still do like this sauce with like onions instead of mushrooms, or just like by itself. You can still do the sauce, and it's so freaking good with shrimp too. Like this exact same thing, but with shrimp instead of chicken. Amazing. And this is why I always do dishes like in between my stuff too, because like dishes accumulate so quickly whenever you're cooking. It's crazy. Just gonna move you guys a little closer. Also, if you guys do not have one of these offsets, you definitely, I'm just drying it off, you definitely want to get one, because spreading butter on toast with this is so much easier than using a butter knife. I promise ya. Okay, while that's doing that, I'm gonna attack this chicken again. And I'm also just gonna put all this onions and garlic with carrots in there. Oh yeah, it's so much easier to handle now. Oh my gosh. And I'm pretty much just shredding it, and that way I can just use it in anything that I want. You could cut it up into like chunks too. And just in case anyone thinks that I'm being mean to my dog, it is because I want her to be safe. I'm cooking and filming at the same time, so it is not a safe space in here for her. I am aware of her right now because I can see her out of the corner of my eye, but having boundaries with your dogs and your children is a good idea. So that's why she knows that she's not supposed to be in here. Get on somewhere, Mitzi. It's really just me loving her because I want her to be safe. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the heavy cream because this has reduced a great deal. And I don't want this to be at such a high heat, so I am gonna put it at a medium-low. Get your ass in there. And that way it doesn't like curdle or anything. Especially since I'm over here shredding chicken for the rest of my life. And I've either made this dish on camera before, or I have made something similar on camera. Like maybe the shrimp one. I really can't remember. I feel like I made something like this though. I think it was whenever everything was going on, like in December and January, I believe. I think that's whenever it was happening. Ooh, that's hot. I found a super hot one. Okay, so just as like a visualization, so I do have the shredded chicken in here. Whoops. I do have the shredded chicken in here with the carrots, the garlic, onions, and I just put that in here like this. Carrots, garlic, and onions go with everything, so it's not like weird to have them in there. And then what I do like to do is whenever it is going inside, I put a bit of this broth in there, and that just helps keep it really moist and delicious while it's in the fridge. Just checking my sauce. Awesome. So this smells delicious because of especially that white wine vinegar. I know it sounds a little bit strange, but it really does need that acidity and it does help out. So this is pretty much almost done. I'm gonna add some pepper. I'm actually running out of freshly ground pepper. I always have it in here. I need to grind some more. Okay. Okay, so the sauce is pretty thick. It is like running nicely through here. So I'm just gonna leave it on for a couple more moments. And I'm gonna put some of my chicken in here. Whoop. I'm trying to drop everything today. Honestly, I say that, but it's every day for me. I'm always trying to drop stuff. So I'm just adding some chicken. Whoa, I tell you. Ah! Anyways, that's not all the chicken. I just haven't shredded all of it yet because it really is really hot. Especially the parts that are attached to the bone still. And these are cool enough to put in the freezer. I just squeeze all the air out that I can. Great. So I'm gonna go ahead and shred my spinach in here. The heat is now off. And I'm just coating the spinach and chicken with the sauce. And then I'm just gonna put a bit of butter in here because why the hell not? Somebody is gonna be triggered by how I just did that butter. I honestly kind of triggered myself. But I don't use that butter like in the like measurements on the side, so. Okay, I'm just gonna taste this so I can see if it needs salt. That is delicious. Okay. So now I'm just gonna pour this over the rice. And it's really hot right now, so it will thicken up. And that's why this is my favorite pan too, because everything comes out nice. You don't really have to worry about anything like burning. Oops. I just bent the hell out of something in here. My bad. Okay, so here it is. I'm so excited. getting the trash can out of the way so I can actually get kind of close to you guys. Looks delicious. Hopefully you can see what's happening. Make it. And this is something that I made up one day, so I can try to like write like a recipe down there, but okay, so it's super creamy. It just has like a little bit of acidity from that white wine vinegar, but like in the best way possible. Absolute best way possible. Like if you've had chicken Chardonnay, it's very similar to that. The chicken is tender. Mushrooms are mushrooming up in this mother. And I honestly put the spinach in here mostly because I want the vitamins from it and the iron. And then I'm just gonna take this to work. That'll be delicious later. This video is already long enough, so I think I might take some of this and mix it, like heat it up in a pan and reduce it just a little bit. Add a little bit of butter to make like a, what is that, like a burr sauce or something? I think that's a burr sauce. I think. Can't really remember because culinary school was a long time ago. And your girl was a delivery driver and works at a hotel. So, yeah. Anyways, if anybody stayed this long, I mean, I appreciate it. Now you've seen like a different side of me. But yeah. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe, like this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. And yeah, thanks so much. Bye, guys.